When used in equations, the lemma scale is the symbol for a number larger than the largest number. Never ending. Time without end.
This extraordinary symbol has many meanings and comes to exhibit in many backgrounds. Such is the symbol that it has been recognized not only by hippies and occult lovers, but into finer detail by mathematicians, scientists and philosophers.
Some of the other great mathematicians of the time, like a man named David Hilbert, probably equal to Poincaré in greatness as the two greatest of that era, Hilbert described Cantor's work as a paradise and said nothing will ever expel us from this paradise that Cantor has created. So let me introduce you to Cantor's paradise, first by showing you some of the paradoxes and really startling things that come about when you start thinking about infinity mathematically.
Number 4. Hilbert's Infinite Hotel. A grand hotel with an infinite number of rooms and an infinite number of guests in those rooms. That was the idea of German mathematician David Hilbert, friend of Albert Einstein and enemy of chambermaids the world over. To challenge our ideas about infinity, he asked what happens if someone new comes along looking for a place to stay. Hilbert's answer is to make each guest shift along one room. The guest in room 1 moves to room 2 and so on. So the new guest would have a space in room 1, and the guest book would have an infinite number of complaints. But what about when a coach containing an infinite number of new guests pulls up? Surely he can't accommodate all of them. Hilbert frees up an infinite number of rooms by asking the guests to move to the room number which is double their current one, leaving the infinitely many odd numbers free. Easy for the guest in room 1, not so easy for the man in room 8,600,597. Hilbert's paradox has fascinated mathematicians, physicists and philosophers, even theologians.
Why are all these professions so intrigued by the origins of the infinity symbol and its metaphysical meaning? Could it be that the infinity symbol itself has drawn us closer to it through its existence? Or could it just be humans' notorious nature to seek beyond the great unknown? From the experiences and knowledge of the infinity symbol in cultures and from philosophers, we will look into the origins of the infinity symbol and why its existence has become a relevancy in our lives. Let's begin looking at the earliest finding of the infinity symbol in Human Encyclopedia. Here we find infinity as a mathematical device that was first discovered in 1655 by John Wallis. John Wallis spent 1631 and 1632 at Morton Hall Beach School in Felsted, Essex, where he became proficient in Latin, Greek and Hebrew. In 1644 Wallis became secretary to the clergy at Westminster, and through this he was given a fellowship at Queen's College, Cambridge. He studied divinity. However, when he got married he was dropped, because fellows cannot be married. He returned to London, where became a member of the Royal Society of London. The Royal Society of London is a Freemasonry fraternity. John Wilkins, founder of the Royal Society, citing Wallis' book Treatise of Algebra, explained how the formal manipulation of symbols reveals matters which are otherwise inaccessible to human understanding, and that symbolic equations can uncover the hidden mysteries of nature. This very book inspired Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton went on to write about sacred geometry based on King Solomon's temple more than he did physics. Yet how strange that is, of today Newton's work on physics is what dominates the world of science and our perception. But the significance of the infinity as a religious symbol is much older than Solomon.
When used in culture, the lemniscate is the symbol of Ouroboros, the serpent king that devours itself to become infinite, never ending, without end, one with eternity.
The infinity symbol also appears in the elaborate curlicues in Arabic calligraphic renderings of the name of God. The elegant loops providing a decorative device point toward the idea of eternity. This symbol itself became an image of a never-ending source of power, a power that exceeds all creation, since the symbol is creation itself. Here is where the ancients bestowed upon their teachings the idea of a self-creator. The Ouroboros is derived from two words in ancient Greek language. The first word is "ra," which means the tail, while the second word "boros," which means eating, combined. These two words give the meaning "it that eats its tail" or tail eater. A serpent eating its own tail has been depicted in different versions of the infinity symbol throughout human history. Interpretations of the meaning behind the Ouroboros symbol suggests that the serpent in the symbol represents the cycle of life and death that the universe maintains. The snake eating its own tail represents the recreation of life through death by the universe. It is the rebirth of the dead reaching immortality. This sacred symbol has appeared all around the world, and all around different cultures, yet with its widespread use, this symbol's significance and meaning is never altered in any way. In the Middle Eastern culture in the 3rd century CE, Mithra, the divine being, was believed to have died and then reborn. This Persian and ancient Roman Greek god is depicted with an Ouroboros around his waist or encircling his whole body. In China, it is believed that the universe was created by the union of the two opposites, earth and heaven. These realms united to deliver the creation of the universe. Chinese belief suggests that the union of the two opposites, light and darkness, produces creative energy. Just as the symbol of yin-yang, the duality of opposite sides existing in harmony, the infinity symbol is interpreted as the one is the all. In the ancient Hindu culture, the Ouroboros was depicted encircling the tortoise, which was believed to have the 4 elephants carrying the world on its back. The serpent here depicts the unity of the 3 realms. In the North American culture, the infinity symbol was seen in some carvings in the ruins left behind by the Aztecs. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god of the ancient Aztecs, was depicted as a serpent devouring its own tail. In Europe, the infinity symbol is prominent in Norse mythology. It was taught that Loki and Angrboda's child was a serpent that grew into a size so large that it eventually encircled Earth and able to devour its own tail. 1600 BC for the Egyptians, the Ouroboros was considered as the symbol of the sun, and it was believed to have represented the sun god Aten. Through Egyptians it was passed on to the Phoenician culture, and through their relations with Phoenicians it was incorporated to Roman mythology, who named the infinity symbol in their language as we use it today.
When used in magic, the lemniscate is a symbol of infinite power. The connection to eternity, forever knowing, eternal truth.
Given the infinity symbol's profound use throughout culture and religion, one would ask, what was the significance of this drawing? It's just a picture, right? The infinity symbol is an image that was used in practice, meaning that these cultures and religions utilized this symbol in their rituals and ceremonies as a spiritual and physical tool. Alchemists use the infinity symbol as a purifying glyph, and it is referred to as the name of the great world serpent which surrounds the earth. The Ouroboros symbol was important for the alchemists because it symbolized the unity of all. In the 3rd century, a powerful magician and alchemist known as Cleopatra wrote a book called The Chrysopoeia of Cleopatra, a book full of symbols of demons and secret encoded glyphs for practicing alchemists. One of the important texts written by her depicted a symbol in black and white halves, and the word "hentapan" was used along with the symbol of the serpent eating its own tail. Hentapan means one is all.
There's alchemy. The practice known as alchemy is not uniquely European. Alchemists practiced in ancient India, China, and Egypt. European alchemists believed their traditions descended from Hellenistic Greece, which in turn inherited this knowledge from Egypt and Babylon. Today, the phrase alchemy invokes visions ripped from the pages of fantasy novels, sinister wizards in dusty laboratories, toiling over secretive magical experiments. But what exactly is alchemy, and why do some people think it works? In many ways, alchemy can be considered a proto-science, the predecessor of modern-day chemistry. This blend of magic and scientific knowledge was shrouded in superstition and secrecy. Like modern scientists, alchemists attempted experiments in hopes of creating a measurable, reproducible change. However, magical rituals, incantations, and spells would often form part of their work. The goals of European alchemists were equally unorthodox. Many dreamed of discovering the mythical philosopher's stone, an object with the ability to turn base metals into gold. Others hoped to prolong their lives through the use of magical elixirs. From this strange overlapping practice of magic and science, alchemists produced some genuine scientific breakthroughs, including discoveries about metallurgy, basic chemistry, and pesticides. And alchemists weren't all villainous charlatans. Practitioners included the intellectual luminaries of their time, such as Roger Bacon and Isaac Newton. Alchemy's history is also littered with mysterious figures who allegedly managed to accomplish astounding feats. These figures included the enigmatic Count Saint-Germain, a European intellectual rumored to have discovered the secret to immortality. Then there's the mythical Hermes Trismegistus, a symbolic figure who, to alchemists, represents the combination of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth.
Now this mystical and powerful alchemist symbol appears in the Black Magician's Tarot as part of the Magician card. What is it about the strange symbol that has led to alchemists and Black Magicians to incorporate this long historic phenomena within their lives, more specifically, in their ritualistic magic? The infinity symbol has also been depicted as the torus, a symbol of physics which symbolizes that what one puts out is what one receives in, a process that is never-ending. Such is the process that it has been described as the fundamentals at the point of singularity, a state of all-knowing and all-existence.
The torus is a very fundamental part of nature, so fundamental in fact that science is now seeing that everything moves through this form in one way or another, including ourselves. Very simply, the torus is a self-organizing system that all comes together at a space of unity and expands its energy out all around itself until it returns back to that original space at the center, and will continue to do it again. In quantum physics, mathematics, and generally all forms of science, this geometry really begins to bridge the gap between understanding how sacred geometry truly is the geometry of life. This is a geometry that breathes. It has life itself.
Our very own hearts are the first and best examples of a toroid. The heart is where it all starts. The energy of our hearts flow outward in a toroidal fashion and are also received in a toroidal fashion. This way, everything we send out in love, we are immediately affected by as a result.
You can look in nature to see these shapes everywhere. It's in oranges and apples. You can see it around tornadoes. The magnetic field of the Earth is a very powerful example, as well as how the atmosphere of the planet works too.
Love is not just a feeling, it's a vibration and a frequency that is connected through all things. The pure vibration that emanates around one's own heart and brings things together harmoniously is through a universal vibration we call love.
If you look at the flower of life in 2D, it may be a little hard to tell. However, in 3 dimensions, one can truly see that it too is a torus. The flower of life is all geometries, remember? The torus is yet another one of those creation patterns that emerge from this, or rather is this form. The Institute of Heart Math, as well as Stanford University, among others, have now scientifically demonstrated that around the physical heart of your body, you have 2 toroidal fields, one inside the other, which are connected to the sacred space and the tiny space within the heart.
The infinity symbol is understood as a symbol of the enlightened body of King Solomon's temple, a symbol depicted to be the representation of eternity. Without the knowledge of the infinity symbol, one will remain finite. The works of Freemason John Wallace has led to this symbol being now known as the Mason's Knot, or also known as the Masonic Love Knot, a symbol revealed to be used in practice to cast bewitchment onto others or as a symbol to unite one another. Is the infinity a symbol of good or a symbol of evil? The infinity symbol was passed down to Egyptians by their sun god Aten, which is the sun. The Egyptians believed the sun to be a deity, which was an attribute of the sun god Ra. The sun god Ra is the Sumerian god Ptah, a self-creation god from ancient Sumerian texts which predate Egyptian. These teachings were derived from the belief of an alien race known as the Anunnaki. Could it be that the infinity symbol originally is the symbol of the one true God, or is the infinity symbol now the symbol of our new god Lucifer?